Hello everyone, I'm Krishna Priya here from WELL Rehabilitation Network, Hyderabad. Today I'm going to share about behavior modification. So let's see what is behavior modification. Behavior modification is nothing but it is described as altering the behavior patterns, such as using techniques like positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. So let's see which people needs this behavior modification. Now I'm going to discuss about some of the behavior deficits with the child with autism and ADHD. Let me list out what are all the behavior deficits will be there for the child with autism and ADHD. The first one is poor speech and language development and poor self-help. For that kids, we can give this behavior modification. And another thing is their inability to attain bowel and bladder movements oneself. For that kids, we can give this behavior modification. And another part is uh, the kids and another part is the kids cannot attain anything by their own self. So for these kids we will give this behavior modification. And also eye contact. Some kids with autism and ADHD, both kids will not tend to show eye contact with other persons. For these kids we will give this behavior modification. So let's get into the topic. So first, for behavior modification there is some intervention we need to carry out. So there is some strategies like stepwise. The number one is identifying the behavior problem. For identifying the behavior problem of the kids, we need to see we need to see uh, what is the exact problem of the kid. For that we need to list out the behavior problems. First we need to observe and list out the behavior problems of the child. Next, we need to use that behavior checklist. Behavior checklist in the sense it is a rating tool uh, to rate the child's behavior, from which degree the child was affecting. Like for example, some might have aggressive issues, irritability, like that. For example, I'm saying for in that case we need to address the issues. So we need to use this tool, from which degree of rating the child was suffering from that particular behavior. For this thing we will use that behavior checklist. And the next part is we need to classify into two ways. One is like presence of, and another one is absence of. In presence of symptoms, it will comes under like undesirable behaviors, child's undesirable behaviors. Undesirable behavior in the sense uh, harming, self harming, head banging, like that. And in the absence of, in the sense like uh, child's adaptive behavior in the sense like uh, poor speech and language development. And other thing like mm, poor motor development, like that things we will carry out. Like these two things we need to look into the for behavior modification, in which part the child was affecting, whether in and this present whether they causing in presence of the symptoms like uh, presence of symptoms like that uh, presence of symptoms like that poor self helps like that, or absence of like uh, undesirable behaviors, like these things we need to carry out. And another second part is we will go for behavior recording, sorry, defining the target behaviors. In defining the target behaviors, we need to look into for, after observing the child's behavior all, we need to give a hierarchical for the concerned particular behavior. Hierarchical in the sense we need to rate that behavior according to the frequency, like which behavior is causing higher severity. Like that ways we need to formulate one step, and we need to go according to that wise. For example, hierarchical in the sense, for example, if a child is suffering from self cry and sitting tolerance. So which we will look into first? We need to pick which we need to see. First we need to pick that self cry, because in case we will work, if we start to work on for that sitting tolerance, the self cry will the therapy will get the therapy will get collapsed. So we need to go with which is given higher severity for the kid, and we need to look for the kids for the kids in kids sorry, once again. So yeah, so and we need to look for the kids, what made that behavior, what triggered that behavior, we need to see these things also, we need to see in that part. So we first we need to pick from that two or three things from that behavior, from hierarchical way, which of the behavior caused very higher severity, we need to work on that first, and then we need to go for other things. So if we continue to work on sitting tolerance and we avoid that self pride means it won't work. We need to rule out which causing the for that particular behavior of the child to make them to do that thing. So next we will go for uh, behavior recording. Behavior recording in the sense, uh, we need to record the child's behavior when we start the intervention, during the before we starting the intervention, and also when throughout the whole period we need to carry out that recording. We need to carry out like uh, four ways, like we need to check the child's frequency, duration, and interval period, and time sampling. Frequency in the sense, how many times the child is getting that particular behavior in that particular time. How many times, like whether it is the frequency is getting higher or lower, in that while we need to check. And duration is how many minutes it's lasting, like 1 hour, 1 hour, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, like that way we need to check. And again, for interval period in the sense, we need to check the ratio of the time, each period we need to check how many times that particular behavior is uh, executing, the child is executing. We need to check for that as well, how many period, like some child will do that particular behavior for the particular situation only. So we need to check in a one day how many times that behavior is establishing in a particular period, we need to check. And another one is time sampling. Time sampling in the sense, time samplings in the sense, how many time in a day the child was executing that thing, particular thing, we need to check. So the next one is the functional analysis. Functional analysis is the main key part we will play in this behavior therapy for behavior modification. It is nothing but ABC technique. First, for the ABC technique, what we will do is, B means first let me explain what is ABC. A means A means antecedents, B means behavior, C means consequences. So we need to check the child's behavior according to these five. A means antecedents, no. So in antecedents we will notice, we will need to see what triggered the child to do that particular behavior, which situation triggered the child to do that particular behavior, we need to note down that. And in B for behavior, no. In behavior we need to rule out which what type of behavior is the child is executing during that particular situation. So we need to uh, note down all those things. And C is consequences. In consequences you will give one task to the child for a week, and you will check on that, uh, how the child is performing the task. And you need to note down, okay, if the particular task is given, how in that time, how the behavior for the child it was, you need to check for that. So in this way, we will carry out that ABC techniques. And the next one is the main part, which is that behavior. To reduce that undesirable behavior, we will give it that behavior modification. In behavior modification, we will use four uh, main thing. The four main thing is, the one is positive punishment, another one is negative punishment, another one is positive reinforcement, next one is negative reinforcement. In positive punishment, it is like adding up the consequences to the child, to deter the child from repeating that particular behavior. For example, you will for example what for example, a child is lying for something. For example, a child is breaking the toys and lying to you. And in that case, what you will do is, you already will given a task to the child. Along with that, you have to give that another task for a child to do simultaneously, adding up the task. By giving adding up the task, the child need to finish it. Like that way, you'll carry out the positive punishment. And in negative punishment, what you'll do is, uh, it is always giving, uh, removing up the, sorry, it is always like, yeah, once I finish, I will explain all your questions. Let me finish first. Yeah, first, where I left. Yeah, for negative punishment, it is something like taking away something from the child. It is like, uh, mm, for example, the child with tantrums. The child was throwing some tantrums. We know, for example, we will use in that case two techniques. Like, one is that ignoring the behavior. Another one is another one is uh, time out. In ignoring the behavior, for example, if the child, you're taking a child to some any supermarket. In that supermarket, supermarket, in the sense, we know, we in that supermarket, everything's will be there, even toys, everything's will be there. You're going for shopping and take carrying along your child. So if the child sees the toys, it definitely it will ask. In that case, some child will throw tantrums. It will cry for a longer period. In that case, if we give the toy, if we buy and give the toy, the child will become okay. Okay, so that will become like positive attention to the child. So in that case, it will won't work on like long term run. It will work on only like short term run. So in that case, what you do is, you need to ignore that behavior. Uh, Ignore that behavior. When the child cries, you need to ignore that behavior for some time. So the next time the child will comes to learn that, it will condition by itself. It will learn that. So if we cry also, nothing will happen. So it comes to learn that behavior and never do that again. And another one is timeout. Timeout in the sense, you need to give, mm, the child, like, if the child is crying continuously, you need to take a uh, child to uh, different sorry, any empty place you can take it, whether it is a room or anything, you can go take the child to there. And you can keep the child for some time. Let them uh, let them come, and again you can bring them back to the activity place. And you can continue that same, continue what you continued that task, you can make them to continue same. Like that way, you can carry out for in time out. And another one is like positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. In positive reinforcement, it is like giving a child for this positive reinforcement is always giving a child for good behavior, like for reinforcing a child with desirable behavior. Desirable behavior in the sense, we are giving rewards for the child for their good behavior. For example, today they are completing this task. For in return, we will give reward to the child. Reward in the sense, we can give anything like stickers or chocolates. In that way, in that way we can carry out like positive reinforcements for the child. And negative reinforcement is like something we are motivating the child to change that particular behavior in the sense that which is so unwanted, socially unacceptable behavior. In that case, for example, if the child is uh, continuously continuously throwing continue okay, if the child is continuously complaining about this something, if you ignore that for one day and you're not giving attention to that particular thing, automatically the child will not execute that pattern of behavior again. So in this way we can carry out that negative reinforcement. So yeah. So yeah, this was my topic. Now I'll answer to all your questions. Someone has asked how to identify behavior is problematic. So as I discussed earlier, how to identify behavior is problematic is you need to first carry out the strategies. Like you need to first observe the child, what the child exactly needs, for what particular purpose the child is executing that behavior. We need to check by these strategies how to control. Someone has asked how to control aggressive behavior. Yes, for controlling aggressive behavior, as I said earlier, that only there is a two option. Aggressive behavior in the sense all it's come under like tantrums only. So aggressive behavior in the sense we can go only with these two ways. One is like ignoring, another one is like time out. As I said before, for ignoring, you need to ignore that child's particular behavior whenever they are showing the tantrums, and time out, you can take the child to particular as I said, particular place, and you can keep them there for some time. Again, you can bring them once they become normal, you can bring them to the task. Ma'am, can you please? Yeah. Someone asked, ma'am, can you please explain about aggression and how can we reduce it? Aggression. So aggression, it will carry out in many ways. Like it will differ from child to child. First, we need to analyze the kid. First, we need to understand the kid, what it really needs, and we need to go according to the kid preference. Like for what they are doing, for what situation is triggering to do that particular thing, we need to first first we need to carry out that, then only we can go according to that price. How can we reduce it? It since, yeah, as I discussed earlier, now you can give like reward, no, positive reinforcement. As I discussed earlier, you can go with that way. Uh, Someone has asked how to identify reinforces and punishes for hyperactive and impulsive child. Sorry, I cannot understand your question. Can you repeat it again? What is ABC? As I explained earlier, ABC is nothing but it is antecedents, behavior, consequences. First, we need to look into the behavior. What are all the behaviors they're ruling out? We need to point that, and we need to concentrate on A. A means antecedents. What triggered them to do this behavior? We need to carry out that things. What triggered, which situation triggered them to do these things, we need to carry out that things. And in consequence, and C for consequences. In C consequences, what you will do is you will carry out a task to the child, a particular task to the child for a period, and you will check what the child really needs, what it's doing when giving that particular task, how the child's behavior was behavior was doing while giving that task. You need to check. Mm. Someone has asked, can you tell me how to control beating behavior? Beating behavior, in the sense, all this comes under tantrums. Tantrums, I hope so. So, for that, as I previously discussed, you can give either like you can first you need to analyze the child for what reason it is getting irritability, whether it's for what situation the child is getting irritability or anger for the, you need to carry out that things, and then you should go according to that wise. Problems in attention. You can you can just check with the child what makes the child. Some child will have like visual seeking, so that the attention may lack, and some might cannot focus. In the case of autism kids, they have only less attention. So for attention, you can concentrate more on child, like uh, environment, environment like object free environment. In a simple way, object free environment I can see. How to control repetitive behavior? Okay. repetitive behavior in the sense whether the child is showing in particular task or what. So you can control repetitive behavior like breaking the patterns. For example, if the child is showing interest in particular activity, you can break the pattern. Like how I will say is, you can take any random task like two tasks, and you can make the child to do simultaneously. Either like for first 30 second this and next 30 second this. In like that way, you can practice for the kid. Clinic contact number you can I'll say I'll let you know. Okay. Someone is asked how to improve sitting tolerance in hyperactive child. Okay. For sitting tolerance, you need to see the child's exact cause first. First, that is the main thing. And for sitting tolerance, you can break the activity and give to the child. For example, in case of we take hyperactive kid means the child does not show more interest in activity. It always wants to keep on rounding like that. Things they will show more interest. In that case, what you will do is you can uh, give the activity like gradually. You can give the activity like what you do is first you can split the activity like in two ways. One is for workspace, another is for play space. You can split into these two ways. What you do is first you can take 30 seconds for the play space, make the child to play. You can give what all the child was interested in particular activity, you can give that as well. But you can set the time for the child for only for 30 seconds. You can set the child time limit and you can allow them to play. After that, meanwhile 30 seconds you can bring back to them in the work soon. In that area, in that 30 seconds after, uh, simultaneously you can do this. For sitting tolerance, first what you do is gradually. For example, putting if you take like a shape board, first you can gradually increase the child to put one shape like one puzzle, threading one piece. Gradually you can increase the task like placing two beads, two puzzles. Like that way you can improve. So once the child is learned to that particular task, if it is particular task, if it is comes to learn, it is if it is conditioned, so after some time it will improve sitting tolerance. How to improve eye contact concentration among ADHD children? Eye contact. Okay. Eye contact. You can use use objects like anything like any objects like vibrating like sounded objects, like you can show the child to hear, like, or you can ask them to point your eyes, like, and you can count, and like that way you can improve the eye contact. And concentration, as I discussed earlier, you should uh, know the child's wanting, like what they need exactly. For some child it will be due to distraction, they not cannot able to concentrate. For some child, they want particular activity, so they don't want to concentrate in other activity. So we need to carry out for what causes to them to concentrate, don't want to concentrate in the particular thing. For attention seeking, you, as I said before, you need to carry out that those two things. One is like, as I said, one ignoring and time out. These two things only you can go with. Anything, anything more? Okay. What is difference between hypoactive and hyperactive? It is just one thin line difference between hypoactive and hyperactive. I hope I'm saying correct. Hypoactive in the sense the child, which the child does not want to, uh, does not want to do any activity. What the child will do is it will often try to escape from the task, from the particular task. Whereas hyperactive is the child cannot sit in one place, they often wants to round around and do activity. Before we are giving command, they will, what they will do is they will tend to finish it. Any other? Any other questions? Okay. I hope I have answered to all your question. For further doubts, you can contact Well Rehabilitation Network. So, thank you from Well Rehabilitation Network.